Morning world, it's 9:30 in the morning, it's the 5th of February 2016. This is my take on the astrological fourth house. The fourth house is the house of zodiac that relates to the fourth sign, being Cancer. So of course many Cancerian attributes relate to the fourth house. Cancer is the sign of a zodiac that one associates with feelings, home, security, foundations, family. So the fourth house represents these attributes also, but projected into and onto the outside world. The challenging side of the fourth house is that when you find a lot of planets in the fourth house of the home, you can find people who are quite insecure about their own security, always worried about how much their house is worth, whether they can feel safe in their home. There's always going to be the potential there for family problems. If you have a difficultly aspected planet in the fourth house, especially if it's the sun or the moon, there can always be family issues that weigh heavily on one's shoulders and act as a kind of blockage in one's life, or an element of responsibility and duty that weighs too much on oneself. There can be the dominant mother, especially once again if the sun or the moon, or for that matter Ceres, is in the fourth house, and sometimes Saturn as well, especially if it's retrograde. The female role model imagery, whether it is older sister, mother, wife, grandmother, can come across as very dominant, overprotective, smothering as much as mothering. That's particularly so with the asteroid Ceres, regardless of house. And there can be, under challenging circumstances, an association between the fourth house and food, particularly comfort food, chocolate, sugar, sweet things. Food equals love. When people don't feel loved enough, when there's a difficult fourth house aspect, there's going to be a lot of people who feel, I can never be loved enough, no one loves me, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve to be loved. Where's the chocolate? Common, unfortunately. The positive side of the fourth house, however, is the same, but in reverse. Here we're talking about pride in one's home. For many people, the fourth house sun person, for example, their home is their castle. Often, with the moon or the sun in the fourth house, these individuals aren't going to be the most social of person at entertaining. Their home is private, not secretive, but private. And it takes a lot for them to invite people through their front door. They need to know people a long time, ideally 7 years, before they really welcome them into their home. That's because when they get home, when they get behind that front door, all the external Cancerian shells drop off. And at home they are vulnerable, sensitive, and thus they can be taken advantage of. So they need to trust the people who come through their front door. Once they do, they are great hosts. They make the best food, they're the most welcoming, the most entertaining. They make people feel really comfortable. And of course, the fourth house is the house that's associated with feeling and emotion. Difference between the two. Feeling is innate. It is internalized. It is something that one has, regardless of external phenomena. Emotion is often triggered and stimulated by other people or external events and situations. But feelings and emotions are strong with the fourth house person. Not the intuition of the 12th house or the psychic sensitivity of the 8th, but pure and raw feeling and emotion is common in the fourth house person. The more neutral side of the fourth house, of course, is that the fourth house is the bottom of the horoscope. It is the lowest house of the chart. It represents the area of the sky that governs the time between midnight and 2 a.m, regardless of where you are and what time you're born on the planet. And because of this, the fourth house does deal with one's own roots and foundations, whether that is family related, maternal, and I do believe that the fourth house has a lot more in common with the mother rather than the father, although I know a lot of other astrologers will disagree with me. It has to do not just with family, but with property, roots and foundations. It often signifies people who actually go down to the base, and people with a lot of fourth house planets are quite comfortable sitting on the floor. crouching on the floor, even sleeping on the floor, because it's the roots, it's the base. And there is this deep inner rooted feel and need for stability, solidity and security that only roots and foundations can bring. Fourth house people do actually quite like to live near the sea or by a running stream or river, and they don't like to live high in the air where there's a big view. They're all right as long as they can go down to the cellar occasionally and touch base. Fourth house people do need to go outside every so often and just plug their fingers into the earth and ground themselves. Roots, foundations, home, family, security, individual emotional well-being. Any planet you have in the fourth house, you need to take time out for yourself, look after your own roots and foundations, whether they are physical, as in the home, emotional, as in the family, mental, as in belief in oneself and internal self-confidence, or psychological, as in your own internal roots and foundations in your own psychological makeup. Fourth house. Get your home, not your house, your home sorted. Catch you later, folks. Bye.